in all departments.
Heavy showers for a time tonight with some wintry showers in the north. Cold with clear spells and lowest temperatures between -2 and +2 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Boring. Boring.
What a start.
50 hours will not be boring.
What a start.
The next half an hour while you're here might be boring, but I can assure you, I'm sure that Joe Malloy has a lot of good stuff lined up from 7:30.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What was boring?
Richie.
I just said I'd become one of those smug non-drinkers.
Yeah.
So, there's no...
Are you a non-drinker?
I'm now, yeah.
Since when?
But you know when they preach, I understand.
Done.
It's fair enough. Honestly, like do each their own, and it's great, and
Totally.
healthy lifestyle. But when they preach, it's like, just let people be themselves.
Keith Andrews on veganism.
Oh, another one.
He's the worst.
Painful. Absolutely painful. Seriously.
Wow.
Half an hour of Keith Andrews on veganism.
He's saving the environment.
Well, that's what Owen was telling me as well last week.
There's Leo Varadkar backtracking, and there's Leo Varadkar backtracking, and there's backtracking he should be just embarrassed about.
Keith's saving the environment by flying.
Did you see Leo Varadkar over the last couple of days?
No.
So he said that he too was considering, I think, veganism, or was maybe saying it's not the worst thing that's ever happened, and he was watching how much meat he was going to be eating for his own health and for the environment. And obviously this is a very difficult time for farmers in this country because of Brexit and the uncertainty. And obviously they do not want the Taoiseach saying you should be eating less meat.
Yeah.
So you had to backtrack and say, oh no, I went out for a very nice Hereford steak last night.
You see, he's backtracked.
Seems in a very posh Dublin restaurant.
Yeah, he's backtracked, but also into saying that he's after spending a lot of money.
Well, they narrowed it down to an expensive Dublin steakhouse, of which there's only really 2.
Oh.
But listen, if you want to be a vegan, stick to the point. Be Keith Andrews. Is Keith actually a vegan?
I think you and I, as I said,
or just a hipster?
He's a hipster.
He's a hipster, yeah, but then drinks 20 pints of Guinness on a weekend.
Oof.
So, yeah.
And gets about 4 flights every week.
Yeah.
How is he helping the environment with that?
Honest to God.
Well, I didn't realise you hadn't been drinking for a year, Richie. Well done.
As well. So, honestly, how's he helping?
He's actually using hairspray.
I think he's using all sorts going on there.
Are you feeling the positive benefits of your non-drinking of the past year?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
100%, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
In what way?
AIDS don't have a hangover ever, which is bloody class, I have to tell you.
Do you gym it as well? Are you gymming it?
Jesus, no. Look at the state of me. Do you think I gym it?
Well, I'm only asking.
I'm just generally off the drink.
Very good.
Fair play.
How do you find that when you're DJing at night?
Oh God, it's like a different world. It's like.
Do you not hate everybody who's in there?
Yeah. Absolutely, every single last person. They're just the drunk people when you're sober are just the absolute worst.
Well, this is my dad plays in the band and has for many years and is a non-drinker as well. And I could just never understand how he can put himself in that environment 3 nights a week.
It's kind of grand because you're separated from everybody else, but you have people coming up going, Will you play? Come here.
That'd be me, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be you. Do you have any good songs?
And we all know, Richie, with your temperament, you just love
I know,
people's recommendations.
He's a very calm man.
What do you mean my temperament?
I guess the advantage is as well, you're not spending half your wages.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Mentally, it's class as well, to be honest.
You're a new, mature Richie McCormack.
That's very good.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Who saw that coming?
Not for the first time. We have got sidetracked at the start of the news round.
Ben Kilbane.
Coming your way from 7:30, we're going to be down in Limerick. Joe Malloy has left the capital to go down and meet real rugby people.
Yeah.
Proper rugby people, his kind of people now at Garryowen FC, with Eddie O'Sullivan, David Ward, and Tony Ward and David Wallace.
Fair play.
So that's coming from 7:30.
Yeah. No, he is. He's very much embracing the rugby world, isn't he?
He most certainly is. He's the face of rugby in this country.
He is. He is indeed.
So that's
Gone
coming
down
up
with
from
a packed
7:30.
lunch in a BT's bag.
Our latest Heineken Rugby Club Roadshow is going to be brilliant. He has. I felt very sorry. Is this about this photograph that was circulating online at the weekend? So somebody put up a picture of
the most Leinster
to try and
picture
get this
ever.
of the most Leinster picture ever, which I felt was a little bit of bullying, a little bit unfair.
I don't know.
On the 2 guys who were in it.
I don't know. They're enjoying some vitamin H.
The Leinster match was of a Friday it was a Saturday morning. It was 1 o'clock. We had it live in the game on the show last Saturday. And they probably went into town, walked down Grafton Street, maybe were having the day out in town, having a few pints and wanted to buy their wife something nice in Brown Thomas, doing a good deed.
Yeah.
And they should be allowed to do that.
You don't see that down Daily Mountain, do you?
Without ending up all over social media. Just saying.
Ah, no, fair. Yeah.
So that's coming up from 7:30. On the football show, Damien Delaney is going to join us on the football show.
I was wondering how long your earpiece is going to take to fly. It's gone.
Every time. I don't know if my ears are getting bigger or what the issue is, but it will not stay in.
Sorry, literally 2 minutes before we went on air, Nathan was giving out about his earpiece saying, like, "Can you not get a better one? This one never stays in." And it's what, 3 minutes into the show?
Anyone who
Gone.
watches on all our social channels, Malloy just goes with his iPhone headphones and says, screw
He
this.
doesn't care.
I'm trying to somehow look professional because, auditioning for the big gigs that he already has.
Yeah.
But it's just not working.
He's got to be sick. He's got to be sick one day.
So I turn like this and it's just gone. So Damien Delaney has had a very interesting career and is still playing. He's going to play for Waterford United this season, so he's going to join us on the football show. But really, there's only one place to start. Marcelo Bielsa, who has today cemented his reputation as a maverick, a madman, a genius.
A hero.
One of these things. So if you've missed this, if you've been out and about and you haven't been following, this afternoon Leeds announced that Bielsa was going to hold an impromptu press conference at 5 o'clock. Social media was ablaze with speculation that maybe he was going to resign because of Spygate, which, if somehow you've been living under a rock, you missed that Leeds United sent a backroom staff member to watch Derby training ahead of their game last week.
Honestly, imagine what they learn. Honestly, I bet they learn.
So he turns up at 5 o'clock. It quickly becomes clear that Bielsa will not be resigning, but was instead set to educate the masses. He started his press conference by saying, I'm going to make it easier for the EFL investigation, who are looking into the Spygate accusations. I'm going to make it easier for them, and I assume my behaviour is observed from the most extreme position. I observed all the rivals we played against. We watched all the training sessions before we played them. He went into this brilliant PowerPoint presentation then with the level of research that he and his staff do for every match, but he specifically focused in on the Derby game.
That's the thing I love about this the most.
He revealed every piece, every minute detail that they had on Derby, which was every minute every player played, in every position, every tactical switch they had tried during every game, which is now freely available to every other team in the Championship. You have one of the smartest minds in world football just giving up his good stuff on Derby.
Yeah.
The fact that he's done that level of preparation on teams shouldn't be any surprise to A, anybody who's followed Bielsa, and B, anybody who knows that, the level of research that goes into basically scouting your opposition. Because most people have a tactical analysis team that will look into these things.
And he knows full well himself that all the time that he'd sent people out to different training grounds around the country in the Championship, it would have made very little difference. It gives them another little bit, I suppose, just to build up a tactical analysis. But in relation to the game itself, it would be fairly meaningless.
He said as much himself. He said he sent these people out basically because of his own paranoia, in that he'd done every single possible bit of research he could do on your opposition teams, and just in case there was anything else at all, he'd fling out this staffer to go and have a gawk from the hill opposite the training.
20 staff is what he said that they had working on opposition analysis.
Oh, yeah.
But that he, as you say, more or less admitted that it was all a waste of time, but that he couldn't feel comfortable ahead of a game if they hadn't have done this. I would imagine there's a lot of other coaches in the Championship and throughout football going, yeah, we all do this. Stop trying to paint him as the genius who's come up with this level of detail.
But I think that's what he's done. I think he's just gone to everyone. He's just kind of gone, we all do it. I'll just give you a little bit just to go, but basically, piss off.
There are multi-million, this is a multi-billion euro industry of scouting, of research. There's any amount of software packages that clubs can buy into to get this sort of minute detail of a team's training sessions are slightly different.
Yeah.
But anything that's happened on the pitch, you can get
easy.
The detail. The genius is how you then take that detail, how you take that information.
And interpret it and work with it. But the best thing is about it, you mentioned like any number of coaches are going to be up to this, and any number of coaches can now come out and say that we were doing this. But after looking at all the gammon-fueled bluster that's gone along with the admission by Bielsa that he sent somebody to spy on Derby, who else is going to come out and say, we do it as well? Everyone's kind of going to shrink into the background and let him take all the heat. But for most people with a bit of common sense, the guy's absolutely bang on. He's done nothing wrong.
Over the years, though, as well, I've heard it at various football clubs, and I believe it to be true, where kit men have been outside doors, kit rooms that are adjacent to or parallel with changing rooms, away team dressing rooms. That there's very little wall between them, or a very, very thin wall between them, where the kit man goes into the room, listens to what the opposition's manager's saying pre-match and when they arrive at the ground. Basically, just little things. This is common practice across football, and if I was the manager of an opposition when it was happening to me, of course, rightly, you'd be annoyed and you'd want to go and kill the fellas when they're doing it. But this is common practice across the game. This has gone on for years.
But what you're actually annoyed at is being found out.
That's what it is.
You're not annoyed at the other person for doing it. You're annoyed that you were allowed to be got.
But surely in this day and age, where you can get tiny little recording devices, it would be easy to put one in an opposition dressing room and listen word for word
I'm sure it's been done.
to what they've said.
Genuinely, I'm sure it's been done. I mean,
I wouldn't recommend it, obviously.
It is, but it was things like that. And it's more the fact is getting found out where it becomes the big story. I think it was Keith. Keith was talking Friday, wasn't he, on Sky? Keith was outraged by it. Like, Keith was so strong on it. I was like, Keith, like, fair enough. That's his opinion on it, but like. What realistically would Bielsa have learned from his guy watching Derby training? Unless they're working on some special free kicks and corners, unless they're working on something really intricate tactically, which is unlikely to be working on different ways to.
Is it unlikely?
Yeah, but you work on different things. You'll go and maybe work out ways that you might go and press them together and things like that. But that just happens in a game anyway. That's what Lampard would have been doing across the course of the season. He wouldn't be working on something ultra dramatically different from what he's worked on across the course of the season. He wouldn't have done. So he's not necessarily going to learn an awful lot from having someone watching the train. It's just what Richie's saying there, really. It's more paranoia that he actually just wants to cover every base, and that's why he's done it.
When we were talking outside, both Richie and Stephen Doyle were remembering Trapattoni.
Yeah.
Put up these giant green fences around Gannon Park out in Malahide, so nobody had to be put through watching Ireland training.
Me specifically, I think you were saying, Nathan.
You were the best Monday trainer I ever saw. You used to whack them in from 35 yards on a Monday of training. And then by the time the game came around on Saturday,
look at yourself on a Monday, that's a problem.
I was playing left back, Richie, and Nathan, when you used to watch me, so they said I never got in forward positions. Really.
But the moral outrage about this is just like utterly confusing, because obviously Trapattoni had seen this done in Italy like countless times. And
I would say Trapattoni was the one doing it, which is why he was 100%. Not realising that actually nobody was going to do this in Ireland.
But without wanting to engage in like an exercise of whataboutery, like for instance, Samir Nasri is after parachuting into the Premier League after serving a drugs ban, and nobody mentions it. While he's after signing for a Premier League club,
and playing quite well last weekend as well on the face of it. And you know, what's he taken to get to the level that he's at now? Why do you think this has become such a big story? Because it was Frank Lampard who was done upon. England's Frank because
Lampard.
It's still frowned upon. I was mentioning before.
But like Mourinho did all sorts.
Yeah, there was
nobody
talk
seemed
of
to care.
Villas-Boas doing that.
Did the same on Chelsea.
For Chelsea, part of his analysis. But I was just saying before, I have known of managers sending kitmen into a room, and if you get caught doing it, it's just ungentleman, isn't it? That's the way it is. And it's just more. We know that if any manager or any coach can get any sort of advantage, you're going to take it, no matter what. But when you do that and you get found out, it's like, oh, right.
They say it's against the spirit of the game, but the spirit of the game is just constantly in flux. So you can't
diving every single game, every single week, and not the same outrage. But a coach doing his job, unbelievable, Jeff.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with diving either. But
I just love the picture of Bielsa's man in the bushes with like wire cutter, with his binoculars, just spying on it's just great.
Literally, I came in there, Sky's graphic outside is a picture of Ellen Road for the story, and Bielsa holding some binoculars. That's where we're at.
53106 is the text number if you want to get in touch. My son is a performance analyst with Hibs. They analyse their opponents always. All the clubs have the videos of all matches. They don't spy on training though. Well, that's what he's telling you. Yeah. He wants you to be proud.
Who's that?
No name.
No name?
No name given. Why not?
Well, we probably just Google. Yeah. We might be able to find out who it is. But no, that's great, yeah.
Of course, yeah. That's the gig. That's opposition analysis.
Yeah.
Richie, where are we starting?
We'll start with Carton House. Joe Schmidt has named a 38-man squad for the first 2 rounds of the Six Nations. Among them are 3 uncapped players, all of whom hail from Connacht. Centre Tom Farrell, out half Jack Carty and scrum half Quaylen Blade all get the nod. Carty's inclusion seems to come at the expense of Ross Byrne, and there's no Dan Levy either, but Schmidt says the Leinster flanker will likely return when fully fit. Ireland begin their campaign against England on February the 2nd at the Aviva.
So the big surprise is Ross Byrne.
It would appear so, yeah, but like, can a third choice out half for the first 2 matches of 5 being excluded really be a surprise when you have that kind of strength and depth?
Yeah, and you'd also wonder about the dynamic when you're naming a squad like this, because all going well, and well, who knows with Johnny Sexton and the injury, but Sexton and Carberry are your first 2. Maybe you're just making sure Ross Byrne doesn't get ahead of himself. He's getting a lot of praise at the moment for the performance last weekend. You're not going to need him in that first match. You just keep him on your toes a little bit. Am I getting too far into it?
Possibly. I just think given the nature of that squad and given, say, Ultan Delan's re-emergence and inclusion today, I think from what Schmidt said, looking at his press release today, I think he's been pretty impressed by what Connacht have actually done this term, and I think Carty's inclusion is bearing that out. Farrell had been spoken about a lot during the week. Now, Gavin Comiskey had a piece with him, and Quaylen Blade's name had been mentioned pretty much as soon as Luke McGrath hit the deck. on Saturday. I just think he's been impressed by how Connacht have done so far this season. There are other, like, Schmidt's statement is very canny today. There were about 28 players he named.
There's 38 players in the squad, and I think there's another 25 or so. So if you aren't in the squad or weren't name checked by Joe Schmidt, and your name's Simon Zebo, you ain't getting in the squad for the World Cup.
I think by about a ratio of about 18-1, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. The players he mentioned in his press release were players who weren't in the squad. He was mentioning everybody from Finian Wycherley to Mike Haley to on and on and on, Billy Burns, and then, you know, there was the odd mention of people who are in the squad, but mostly it was people who aren't.
Did he have all those names written down?
They're all, yeah, literally. He went full Jim Gavin on it.
I was going to say, he must have had them written down to remember them. Fair play to him, though.
It's his job. It's his job, Kev. He's the Ireland rugby manager. You need to know the players available to you.
Whatever about knowing your opposition, you've got to know your own players, Kev.
You're still going to forget names, aren't you? That's what I mean.
Joe Schmidt doesn't forget anything.
That's what I mean. That's why
the
he's
genius
the man.
of the man.
That's why he's the man.
Evening, men. We built a house last year, and I used this chance to build a man cave. The budget was minimal, but my builder saw it was my dream, and he looked after me. When it was built, the budget was shot, so everything in it is donated, built, or haggled within an inch of its life on done deal. IKEA's the man as well. Now I have my dartboard and hockey with light, pool table, projector onto a 15-foot painted wall, full bar with 2 beers on tap, but it's missing something only ye can provide. A life-size cardboard cutout of Kevin Kilbane. The official opening is on this Saturday, January 26th. Can you make a man's dream come true? Love the show, Vinny in Kilkenny.
Can we all go, Vinny?
It's not something I have, actually, but...
Is there a life-size cutout of Kevin Kilbane knocking around?
Wow, I don't know. Can we get a life-size cutout? Would someone make us a life-size cutout of Kevin Kilbane?
Sure, that's pretty easy.
There used to be a life-size cutout of Paul O'Connell around the office.
It's a lifetime ambition to have one of those.
It's lifetime.
I'd be worried about what he'd do with it, Kev. It seems a bit stalkerish.
Remember that episode of Alan Partridge where he goes to his mate Jed's house and Jed has the... yeah.
So we've told you about Bielsa and all that. We are tight in time because we need to get down to Garryowen. And as Bob in Castleconnell says, OK, boys, get onto it. Shane Lowry's round today.
Yeah, hell of a day. He says his best ever pre-season was behind his opening round 62 at the Abu Dhabi Golf Championship. The Clara man equalled the course record and indeed his lowest ever European Tour round to hold a 3-shot lead on 10 under par among the chasing pack. 2010 Open champion Louis Oosthuizen. A triple bogey at the 5th contributed to Paul Dunn's 1 over par round of 73. But Lowry is determined to enjoy the moment.
You know, I had a lovely break at Christmas. I was at home for the whole lot of it, and I came out here with my family and rented a house in Dubai. We've had it since the 3rd of January, so myself and Paul Dunn are sharing the house and we're practicing together, and we've been playing a lot together over at the Els Club in Dubai, and you know, we've got some great work done, and I felt good about my game. It's probably the best pre-season I've ever done, and it showed today. I'm just hoping that I can kick on now.
First ever player on the European Tour to shoot 10 under par, having hit fewer than 5 fairways in the round.
Yeah.
Sensational recovery play.
I
he hit
saw
4
the
fairways, but 17 greens.
Brilliant.
Which is unbelievable. It's a perfect start to the season. So hopefully he can kick on and win this, because he's talking about Ryder Cup. We're still a long way even from Ryder Cup points starting. But a win here gets him back into the world's top 50, gets you into all the big tournaments as the year goes on, and suddenly life becomes a hell of a lot easier. And you were just saying you're responsible? Give him a little pep talk before Christmas?
No. I did meet him just before Christmas. He was in good form.
Keep doing what you're doing, Shane.
He was in very good form, yeah. Yeah, so it's hardly down to me, but no, it's great to see him doing well, isn't it?
Ian Keatley, he's off.
He is off. That mooted trip to Italy has been confirmed today by Munster. The 7-time Ireland international will join Benetton at the season's end. Keatley's fallen down the out-half pecking order following the arrival at Munster of Joey Carberry. A trip to League One side Accrington Stanley awaits the winners of tonight's FA Cup 3rd round replay at St Mary's, where Southampton take on the aforementioned Frank Lampard's Derby County, for whom Richard Keogh captains the side, and kick-off is at 7:45.
The joke going around was that Bielsa was calling a press conference to announce the Derby County team to take on Southampton tonight.
Boom.
Hi lads, didn't Eddie O'Sullivan write about a caretaker in Scotland who spied on Ireland's line-out calls? Then the next time they played, they left a dummy team sheet of line-out calls and went on to win all of their own throws at the weekend. Well, Eddie O'Sullivan's coming up in about 10 minutes.
I can imagine
so
more
ask
in rugby. In rugby, that sort of little intricate, finer detail within rugby.
Where set play is
figuring
just
out the calls.
100%.
Figuring out the calls is massive,
wouldn't you? Yeah.
Just before we leave, Richie, what's been happening at the Australian Open?
Yeah, third round meeting of Caroline Wozniacki and Maria Sharapova has been confirmed there. Wozniacki beat Sweden's Johanna Larsson 6-1, 6-3. Sharapova needed just 71 minutes to beat another Swede in Rebecca Pedersen 6-2, 6-1. Second seed Angelique Kerber was another straight sets victor today, beating the Brazilian qualifier Beatriz Haddad Maia, while a semi-final meeting of Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer remains a possibility. Both straight sets victors in the second round today. Nadal dispatched Australia's Matt Ebden 6-3, 6-2, 6-2, while Federer was also a straight sets winner, seeing off the English qualifier Dan Evans. However, the Wimbledon finalist Kevin Anderson is out. The fifth seed beaten in 4 sets today by Francis Tiafoe. Sixth seed Marin Cilic beat Mackenzie McDonald also in 4 sets, and there are wins today for the 14th seed Stefanos Tsitsipas, Grigor Dimitrov, and Andy Murray's conqueror Roberto Bautista Agut.
Have you watched any of it? I usually watch the Australian Open. Sometimes you get in late at night, you can watch. I've not watched any of it.
Watch it in the mornings.
I'll wait to...
Do you not watch Andy Murray?
No, I didn't see Andy Murray, no.
No.
Great.
It's over.
Yeah.
You would have been in tears.
It's gone. I would have been, yeah.
None of that was actually important. Richie just likes to get the pronunciations out. It makes his evening. Lads, the great Don Rivy found out the birthdays of all the referees' wives and would send them cards and flowers, says Rod in West Farnham. Well, we'll ask John Giles about that tomorrow night, but it sounds a bit dodgy to me. Sounds about taking a little step too far.
Who's this Don you're getting flowers from?
Write that down. Ask that for Johnny.
All right, Kev is going to be back for the football show. We have Damien Delaney coming up that after 9 o'clock. We're going to be off to Garryowen in just a moment. But first, next Thursday, that is the 24th of January, we're going to be in the Sugar Club in Dublin to preview the Dublin Racing Festival. We'll have an all-star lineup from the world of racing and beyond, including Niall Quinn, Nicky English, Davy Russell, Rachel Blackmore, Patrick Mullins, alongside Kev, Johnny Ward, Ger Gilroy and John Duggan. It's going to be a cracking night. We're going to be looking ahead to a massive weekend taking place at Leopardstown Racecourse on the 2nd and 3rd of February, where top jockeys and trainers will be competing in 14 races, including 8 Grade 1 races for €1.8 million in prize money. It is an exclusive off-air event, so the only way to enjoy it is to be there on the night. It's completely sold out now, but we're giving you the chance to win a pair of VIP tickets. Just answer this question. How many Senior All-Irelands did Nicky English win? Text your name and answer to 53106 for 30 cents. We'll announce the winner at the end of the show. It's all with thanks to the Dublin Racing Festival at Leopardstown Racecourse on Saturday the 2nd and Sunday the 3rd of February. Get your tickets for the festival now at leopardstown.com. Make it quick.
Alan Brogan's just offered to provide
The Alan Brogan.
It bloody well is.
It's not.
He's just offered to provide a life-size cutout of Kevin Kilbane.
Why does he have one? All right, we're going to investigate
That's not
further.
the Alan
We'll bring you the
Brogan.
results on the football show, but we're off to Garryowen next.
Off the Ball on News Talk. The Pat Kenny Show. Back tomorrow.
We'll find out if we know any more about what might happen with Brexit. What's really happening with the children